Hi, welcome back to part 2 of this game. This game is a short game played in 1975 from part 1's video. I mentioned between two masters, Renman and Becker, and this was played in Sweden. So we see a position coming out of the Sicilian, and it turns out to be a transformation and transition into a position which is the dragon variation. So the game continued, white playing castle long, and then black ends up playing queen b8. So the point of this rather awkward maneuver is to try to place the black rook onto c8, it seems, while the rook on a8 will support the advance of the a pawn. So that looks to be the idea. So it's very unusual, but that's I believe that's what's why Becker played queen b8. So Renman just answered that by h4. So already preparing to launch an attack right away, and as it appears, yes, Becker did play rook c8. Okay, so there's another possibility in this position. Becker could possibly play the very sharp b5. This is very aggressive. White can decline the sacrifice by playing, believe it or not, knight to d5. That's a very good possibility. And if pawn takes a bishop, this is what can happen, you guys, in this type of situation. Well, this is what can happen, okay? In this type of situation, I believe this is what can happen. Knight takes knight, bishop takes knight, then knight takes e7, check, and after king goes to h8, you just win back the piece that you basically sacrifice. So that's a possibility. Now after knight d5, if black decides not to take it and chose to take that knight on d4, black can reply by playing knight takes e7, check, after king goes to h8, then play bishop takes d4, after b takes c4, then actually play queen to c3, and that move is worthy of an exclamation mark move. A very strong move in order to eliminate that dark square dragon bishop completely, and protecting this queenside position from any potential attack. Okay, and black really has no defense in this type of position. White's going to be the one who has all the answers to the plan of trying to go after the king. So this is very sharp b5, but it wasn't played. Instead, rook f c8 was played in this game. Okay, so after this move, this is a threat. So threat of winning that bishop. So in this situation, white retreated back to bishop b3, and then we see now a5. So launching queenside attack. So whoever's the first to attack one of the person's king will probably assume the initiative and advantage in attacking. So in this type of chess, you really have to be aggressive and be at the forefront of the initiative and start pursuing an attack right away. You don't want to waste time. You waste time, there's a good chance you're going to lose a game. You're going to get killed in this type of position. If you're not comfortable playing this type of chess, then don't play this opening. But this is for those who love risky attacking chess, or who just love to calculate very convoluted and sharp positions. So in this type of position, and game continues h5, totally just ignoring this kind of threat. So white understands, okay, whoever gets to the king first usually has the big advantage, dictating the game, the outcome of winning and losing. So there's another possibility which which you can actually play. You know, if you're worried about this kind of threat, you could actually play a4. That's actually a possibility. It really is, but it does sometimes. It's kind of risky at times, but this could be considered. I think this is a possibility because seeing modern games, top level games, where now grandmasters are playing a4, so they found some ideas involved with that as well. But in this type of chess, if you're playing with the spirit of Yugoslav attack against a dragon, you strike right away. I mean, even with h5. Okay. So the game continues. Knight takes d4. Okay, that's what happened in the game, and white took with bishop takes d4. Now there is a possibility. Okay, after there is a possibility, instead of knight takes d4, another possibility is actually to play this very sharp a4. So this is very sharp chess right now. So let's say after knight to for example knight d5. Okay, knight d5, right? So that was played, and maybe black would take here, for example, and then there is a strong reply that black can white can play, which turns out to be this very nice little trick. It's amazing how chess has so much potential. So g4, this I consider this an amazing move. Makes a lot of sense. It looks very simple and straightforward, but this is amazing how you're just attacking, launching the pawns forward. You're even inviting knight to g3, which is interesting. And the best defense, believe it or not, is actually knight to f6. That's probably the only move that black has. Now, if black tries to play this crazy idea, knight g3, white doesn't care about this loss. He would just play bishop to h6 and try and damage the kingside position, even at the cost of losing a bishop, because he wants to go after the king, or she wants to go after the king and just completely kill off the king and end the game right away. So usually black's way to defend is just to go back, but it's still not good enough, believe it or not, because of the open h5, and also because of this nice move, knight to f5 at Sklam. Outstanding move. This move just causes so much problems and basically forces black to actually have to take with the bishop here. Taking with a pawn is extremely risky. Highly not recommended if someone plays this against you. If you ever played a dragon, if someone plays knight f7, you don't want to take that pawn, because you're going to get into a lot of trouble, because that just opens up the g and h5, and then you're in deep trouble. I think you're losing here. Well, you can still fight on, but it's you're in dire straits. I mean, it's not fun to defend like that. So best defense is actually to take here. Just take here on f5, and usually white will take back. G takes 2, try and open up the g file, and here in this type of situation, well, after this move, black can actually now maybe reply, believe it or not, knight to b4. It's crazy. Chess is a crazy game, and tactics loom a lot in chess, and especially the Sicilian knight to b4. I mean, shocker, but it causes so much problems for white. So let's see, how can this be played? Well, believe it or not, white can actually ignore this idea and just play pawn takes g6. I mean, it's amazing. And after a move like knight f takes d5, for example, right, then this gets extremely sharp. As you can see in this position, which piece to take, it gets complicated. Well, best move is actually bishop to d4, because you want to eliminate that dark square bishop to go after the king. Even though white has to worry about some threats that black can carry out, but this is the best move. Bishop d4 eliminates that dragon bishop, and black ends up actually in a hopeless position. Believe it or not, this is actually crushing blow. There's no way. Let me give you guys an example. Let's say this happens, for example. What takes here? Let's say we have check, right? And if king goes here, check. And oh, this is almost, yeah. Okay, look at this, check here. Okay, so we got check here, right? Check, for example, and then we have check here, and then that's mate right there. So I'll show you guys how white can win instantly from this type of variation. Okay, so Okay, so in the actual game, after h5, we see actually knight takes d4. Okay, that's what happened in the game. And then we see bishop takes d4, and then now we see a4. So looks like black gets good play out of it. Right now it seems like he's doing pretty well, and white ends up playing bishop d5. So it looks like after e6, it looks like white's in big trouble, right? That bishop's trapped. Black has trapped the bishop. Well, he doesn't care in this position. He just plays h6, g6. Again, he's offering a piece, and actually it's pretty much forced. So he's trying to go after the king. That's the main point. Okay. So in this situation, if so in the game, right, h takes g6 is played. Now if black takes here, right, big mistake here. Okay, h takes e takes d5 will actually lose to g takes f7 check. I'm sorry. It's after king takes f7, knight takes d5. So this position here, yeah, this is not good for black at all. Yeah, this is big time trouble, because after this, for example, bishop takes, then it seems that everything's falling apart for black here. His whole position just opens up, and the king's not safe at all. Alright, so he took back h takes g6. And if it moved like f takes g6 is played, well, it loses to yeah. So it's quite shocking, like it seems that everything's safe, right? That bishop is trapped, but no, after takes here, and then queen h6 exclam. This is crushing. Even after this, for example, no defense was after takes here, check. King goes here, for example, and then rook to h6. Wow. Threatening winning the pawn, the pin. I mean, it's game over. Okay. Now in the actual game, h6 g6 was played, and now white played this very nice move, queen to g5 exclam. Outstanding move, and they're basically the simple threat is bishop takes f6. They're very straightforward, and then force and mate. Take advantage of the dark square weaknesses. Open h file and mate with the king. So that pretty much forces black to play here e5, block off that threat. But I mean, it doesn't work, believe it or not. It's amazing. This position, the final move of the game is actually here, rook h8 exclam, and game is over pretty much. Black resigned, and the reason why is if bishop takes h8, right, for example, queen takes g6 check wins because it pinned, right? That bishop pins that pawn. So there's no other way out after this. For example, queen takes check. After, like, let's say king h8, for example, then rook h1. Game over. There's no way out of this. You're gonna have to lose some pieces, in order to avoid getting checkmated. For example, you can play that, but it's not good enough because of this move here, queen g6, and then you're busted pretty much in this game. All right, so that's how this game ended. After a killer blow, rook h8 exclam, he resigned. No other way out. Even after king takes, bishop takes, and now you're threatening ideas. Rook h8 coming up, same ideas. If this happens and this happens, and then this whole position. After that, black is in trouble. Game over. All right, you guys. Hopefully, you guys learned something from this game. I find it very instructive on playing the Sicilian for both colors. All right, you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Okay, have a good day. Take it easy for now.